Hi, good evening. It's Ellen Lewis from Crazy for You, and welcome to this evening's podcast. I am very excited to share with you one of the new yarns from Rowan. It's brand new this season, and it is really, really special. It's just beautiful, and it's called Pebble Island. Let me show you. Isn't it lovely? So I know you can't tell too much from up there, but let's talk a little bit about this new yarn, Pebble Island. So it's called Pebble Island because it's named after the one of the small islands in the Falklands archipelago, which is in the Atlantic Ocean. My geography is not great, so I actually had to look this up. But it's located in the Atlantic Ocean to the southeast of Argentina. And it's the archipelago is just a collection of small islands, and one of them is Pebble Island, and it's really special. It's just tiny. It's just 80 square miles, very few inhabitants. It's now owned by a lovely couple, Dot and Alex Gould, who live there quietly with 6,000 Polworth merino sheep. Hi, Amelia. Nice to see you. Hi, Sandy. Hey, Kathy, Valerie. Oh, my goodness. So nice to see you. Gwen. Good, good, good. All right. Yes, very southerly. I bet you've been there, haven't you, Amelia? Have you been there? Very cool. Anyway, so the yarn comes from those 6,000 sheep. So it's very, very small scale. So the yarn fleece, the fleece that make the yarn is very limited, and it's grown in the most beautiful kind of cottage industry way. And I just love that. I think it's gorgeous. And I feel like you can really feel the difference in the yarn. So that kind of makes a big difference. So have not been there. Okay. All right. Hey, Cindy. Nice to see you. Good, good. Okay. So it's all grown very, sustainably. It's this beautiful little cottage industry where they raise the sheep, and apparently they graze on sometimes seaweed, and there's a whole lot of chemistry that goes into the food, the diet of the sheep, and it's just a beautiful, sustainable story. And you can read all about it in the book, the collection that goes with the yarn that Erica Knight has done. So I encourage you to get that. I will have that for you on the website. So anyway, it's just this beautiful, small scale, as I say, farming environment where this couple raises these sheep, and they love them, and they feed them, and they tend them, and they're all hand sheared. So it's very non-traumatic for the sheep. Not that shearing sheep is traumatic at all, but I just love the very hands-on kind of integrated way that they're raising this fleece. So after the fleece is raised, it gets shipped off to Great Britain to another really small industry. So it's a very tiny mill in Yorkshire where the same owners have had it for 4 generations. And it's a special mill that focuses on doing what they call bespoke yarn. So you've heard of a bespoke suit, which is something that's made just for you. So this is a bespoke mill where they create a very, very special yarn to the manufacturer's specifications. So Rowan had, very hands-on in exactly what they wanted in the yarn. So it's all been, very consciously raised and very consciously produced and very consciously brought to you. So I love that. Has anybody ever heard of a bespoke mill before or anything like that? Mostly what we see with the mills are, very large production kinds of outfits, and they do lots and lots. And this is just sort of the opposite of that. It's just very, like I said, it's very small, and everything is very consciously chosen and done. Hi, Joyce. Nice to see you. Hey, Deborah, Karen. Jel. So good to see all of you guys. So, part of the importance of this mill in Great Britain is the effort to bring what was traditionally a heritage industry for Great Britain kind of back to Great Britain. So, I know the Prince of Wales has been working very hard to get the wool industry back into Great Britain. And this is, I think, sort of part of that same effort. It is in Great Britain's heritage, it's in their history, the whole wool industry. So I think it's just lovely that Rowan is doing this. And I think you're just gonna love, love, love the yarn. So let's talk about the yarn. So the yarn is put up in 50-gram twisted hank. It's a worsted spun yarn. It's very, very smooth and silky. It's a 21 micron count merino. Which is not, so some of the softest yarn that you feel is like an 18 micron count, which is, really, really very, very fine. This is not that fine, but it still has a beautiful hand and it's very lustrous. I mean, it's really, really gorgeous. So it's a worsted spun and it's a worsted weight. And each hank has 118 yards, as you would expect in a worsted weight for 50 grams. So 118 yards in a 50-gram hank. And the ball band calls for it to be knit at 20 stitches and 28 rows over 4 inches. So 5 stitches and 7 rows per inch, which is, pretty standard worsted gauge. So I thought, okay, well, let's try it and see what we get. So for me, I'm normally going to knit, I'm going to get 20 stitches over 4 inches on a US size 7. But I thought, well, let's just see what the yarn looks like at a little bit looser gauge. So I cast on with a US 8, and I'll show you what that looked like. It was really, really. So before I show you what it looks like, I want to tell you the experience I had knitting it. It's absolutely wonderful to knit. It's very, like I said, it's very silky in the hand. It's very bouncy. It feels like wool. It doesn't feel like you don't know what the product is. It definitely feels like wool, but it's not scratchy or anything like that. But it's very bouncy and it just really flows. Another thing I wanted to tell you is that it's a 3-ply construction. So a 3-ply construction makes the resulting yarn very round. It's very balanced. And when you look at the stitches, you have great stitch definition, but the stitches are also very symmetrical. So I have my little swatch here. I'll show you. But I also have a close-up photograph that I took of it, and I want to share that with you. So give me a second to do that. So here is the swatch real close up. So do you see what I mean about the stitches being very symmetrical? Sometimes 2-ply or 1-ply, you can have one of the legs leaning in kind of a very marked direction, and you don't get that with this. So it's a very, very round, plushy fabric that you get. And as I said, I knit this on a US 8, and when I measured my gauge, I got 19 stitches over 4 inches, which is not surprising considering how bouncy the yarn is. So you know that the bouncier the yarn, the larger a needle you're going to need to get a particular gauge, because the yarn stretches out over the needle and then it bounces right back. So to get 20 stitches to 4 inches, I think I could easily do that on a US 7. And I think this yarn could be knit more loosely, and you could get a drapier fabric. I think you could probably put this at 17 or 18 stitches over 4 inches and be perfectly happy with the fabric. It would hold its shape and have a decent amount of structure. But I also think, given the nature of this yarn, you could knit this more tightly for kind of an outerwear kind of garment. So do you know what I'm talking about? I think if you were to knit this at 21 in like a seed stitch, you'd have something that would be perfectly comfortable for the winter in our climate. Probably not if you're in New England or someplace else that it's really, really cold, but it would be a very nice outerwear garment too at a tighter gauge. So super pretty. and lovely. The colors. So want to talk a little bit about the colors. So let me show you again my little platter of yarn. So here are the colors this way. And so as I said, it's named for Pebble Island, and Pebble Island is named for the little pebbles that you find along the shoreline. They're little chunks of, or little round stones, and they're agate. So I don't know if you know, agate is kind of a semi-precious stone. And you often see it, sometimes you'll see it sliced in a necklace and dyed. Sometimes you'll see it as a geode. But what's unique to agate is it's striated. So you'll see a lot of times some striping in it. But it's just absolutely lovely. And so the yarn is named for the island is named for the pebbles. And Erica Knight, who's the designer for this, kind of for this project, was so taken with with those agate stones that she looked to them for inspiration in terms of the colors. And I think she did just a beautiful job. She calls it sand washed jewel tones. So yeah, they're none of them like wildly bright, but they're just beautiful. And I actually have an agate belt. And I thought, well, let's see if it really does look like agate. So I went upstairs and I got my belt and I held it next. Here it is, actually. So here's the belt that I have. And like I said, they're all polished agate stones. And I laid it next to the yarns and I took some pictures and I want to share those with you because I think it's just really striking how well she was able to capture the colors of the agate in the yarns. So let me bring this up. Okay, so there's my agate belt in the front, and then there are the colors. And then this at the bottom is one of the garments. So let me just kind of scroll through these for you so that you can see. Look at how that kind of that orange and this yellow and this sort of blue, green, gray. I mean, it really does look exactly like it. I think it's amazing. And here we have this beautiful, soft kind of burgundy and this purple. I couldn't believe how this particular stone really showed those colors and how she'd captured it so perfectly. And then you have this kind of green, and then there's several browns and grays in there. Let's see, did I get a picture? So here's kind of all of them. And I tried to lay the yarn skeins out underneath their coordinating colors. But anyway, I just thought that was super fun to see how, you know, how well she had captured that. And I think it's just beautiful. And with a palette like that, you find that when a palette is inspired by nature, it looks really organic and it all goes together. So the palette is, I think, really cohesive, even though maybe you might not think about that orange or that yellow, but it's just absolutely beautiful. Amelia made a comment here. Even the yellow and orange, which I don't normally like. Absolutely. I am not an orange girl. I'm not a yellow girl. But the tones of this yarn, I think, are just so pretty. And the way that they have, with it, she, Erica Knight, has captured them. So Erica was, I think, specially chosen for this project because she's a designer and has been for a lot of years. She's just beautiful designs. I think you probably remember some of her stuff from last season's Rowan magazine 69. She did some beautiful designs in there. But she also has her own yarn line, and she's a super champion for what she calls indigenous fibers and heritage mills. So this was absolutely right up her alley. So you have these sheep that have lived on this island for forever. They're obviously indigenous, And the Heritage Mill is, 4 generations it's been around. And so bringing that together, I think, was a real natural for her. And she's a beautiful writer as well. So she's written a lovely kind of write-up in the front of the pattern collection. Let me show this to you. This is the pattern collection. And there are 14 lovely designs in here that I want to kind of show you. And we're also really lucky to have the Rowan trunk show with us still. So I've pulled some of those garments to share with you that are, the Pebble Island garments. So, all right, I had some notes. What else have I got? Okay, so the first one is Rocky, which is a beautiful pullover worked in ribbing. So this is Rocky. It's got, can you see, it's got this great little pocket right here and a stand-up collar. And the ribbing gives it a huge amount of structure. So a beautiful structure, and it's such a plushy fabric. It's really pretty, very clean, and I love this brown. I love a cool brown. I can't typically wear brown, but this cool brown is one that I really, really like. And she's just done something kind of fun, very playful here at the edge. You have this little bit, it's just kind of a whip stitch over it and around this neckline. So I just think it's really cute. We had a bunch of people try this on at the trunk show, and it really looked nice. The whole ribbing kind of makes it fit a variety of bodies, so I think that's really beautiful. This is the Dot scarf, and this was named for Dot Gould, who is one of the owners of Pebble Island now and one of the shepherds. So just beautiful. This is worked in 2 colors, that soft chocolate brown and then this kind of raspberry color. It's got a fanciful name. It's called Diddle Dee, but I like to call it sort of a dusty burgundy. So I think that's really pretty. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Gail. Oh, interesting. Valerie met Erica. Yes. Oh, what a treat that must have been. Oh, my goodness. I'm sure she was absolutely lovely. So the other design that I wanted to show you that we have from the trunk show is this one, and this is called Heathland. So this is a vest, and this uses most of the colors from the palette, and we had people try this on, and it was really quite fun. Let me actually show you at the bottom. So it's got a beautiful turned hem, and then in the back, it's striped. Isn't that fun? So it's a super great fun garment. So those are the 2 that we have from the trunk show. But let me show you on Ravelry some of the other designs that I think are really, really pretty, and I think you'll really enjoy seeing them. Okay, so this one is this same vest. This is Heathland, but it is knit in 1 color. So isn't that what a very, very different look we have here, with it's a completely different garment with the harlequin and the stripes than it is in a solid color, but absolutely beautiful as well. I think this is a really nice, a nice design. And she's done kind of the opposite here that she did on Rocky, the sweater. So whereas in Rocky, you have this playful sort of overcast, almost jagged edge, in Heathland, you have a beautiful, very clean looking turned hem. So I think this is really lovely and would be an absolutely wonderful wardrobe piece. You remember Trisha Malcolm talking about how vests are huge and everywhere. This would be a great one to knit, that you could knit now and be very trendy, but it would still be wonderful and fabulous years to come. So Amelia, let's see, Amelia was in here. Yes, it's a great vest. Do you think that you would knit it in the harlequin, or would you now knit it, now that you've seen it in the solid, would you knit it in the solid? So tell me in the chat. The next one that I wanted to share with you is Maritime. And This is a beautiful kind of long pullover. See this generous neck? Let me show you what it looks like. I'll go full screen here. So long sleeve, again with this turn, this very clean turned hem. Tiny little split there at the side, and this generous collar, which also has a really clean, can you see that? A really clean turned hem on there. So I think that's sporty, but also very, very refined. I think that's beautiful. Yes, a great piece for beach walking. You bet it is. That would be wonderful. Oh my goodness. Yes. Who could miss that, right? Okay, so Fox Bay is a cardigan, obviously. I love this. I think it's absolutely beautiful. What I love about it is it looks, very classic, very basic. This is another one, very much a wardrobe builder. You could knit this and wear it forever. But here's what I love. In the back, it's got a V-neck back. So normally with a V-neck in the front, you'd have a crew neck in the back. But look how she's done this beautiful back so that you can wear it both ways. So I love that. I think that looks just wonderful. It's just a little bit playful of a take on an otherwise super classic, basic garment. So let's see what Amelia has to say. Probably going with the Harlequin. Well, I think you might have to make them both. Okay, so this next one is Gen 2, and this is a gorgeous, very heavily cabled garment. This is one of those cables that doesn't have reverse stockinette in it, so it's a stockinette stitch cable, which gives you this kind of lovely undulation. There's a picture in the pattern book. I'm going to show you if I can find it. But anyway, this is here we go. Look at this. I'm going to bring this up now. Hang on. Hello. So look at this. This is a picture from the book where the waves have caused that same kind of texture in the mud that you have in this garment. So isn't that just so fun? I love how she's taken the inspiration from that and really worked it. So very cute, kind of a bell, not a bell, but a straight sleeve on that. And you want to talk about a beach walking sweater. Yes, absolutely. I think that's beautiful. And that's shown in this kind of a little purpley color, which I think is very pretty. And this is a very nice cardigan called Plateau. It's just a very basic crew neck, long sleeve. She doesn't have it buttoned up all the way, but trust me, it's a very basic crew neck. Again, a wardrobe builder, very pretty. But wait till you see Plateau in stripe. So here again, she's done this very playful striping on the sweater to give a completely different look. And I know that, I'm sure she used the way the agate stripes as an inspiration for this. I mean, I think that the way the colors play against each other in the natural minerals is just so beautiful. I think that's really fun. And it has also, can you see, it has some reverse stockinette, which gives you just another playful way to mix the colors. So I think that's really pretty. This is Meredith. This is a dress. So very cute. It's a casual dress. And I love the way it's Fair Isle. It would be super fun to knit. But if you look down here, you can see that it has this gorgeous, look at that at the cuff. So it has this really pretty thumb hole. So very modern looking. I think this is really cute. Wouldn't it be great with boots? Oh, beautiful. Very pretty. All right, what else we got? Okay, this one's kind of interesting. This is called Minnow. And look at this, has this sort of cutaway at the side. Definitely a layering piece. You need to put it on over something, probably a cami or something. But I think it's very pretty, very playful. See that? You can see what it looks like. So this, if you're an asymmetrical girl, this might be exactly something you like. If not, then maybe not. But I think it's pretty. I love that color too. That's so pretty. That's that kind of blue-green color. All right, so that's, I think, all for the garments. And oh, yeah, I talked about Rocky already. Let's just look at the pictures from Ravelry. So you can see her wearing it. See that stand-up collar and the pocket? Very cute. Here's what I was talking about, that playful little overcast stitch in the orange. It just sort of says, I don't take myself too seriously. And they've done a 3-needle bind off on the visible side. So very fun, very cute. And again, that color is just to die for. So here is Nest. Nest is a mitered wrap, really pretty. That would be just a really nice, generous thing. Very pretty, fun to knit. And you can do it in any colors. And this is called Alex. And Alex, obviously, are the fingerless mitts that are the partner to the dot scarf. Very pretty. That would make a really nice set as a Christmas gift for somebody knitworthy. The Dot and Alex set. Very cute. That's a super easy project. A nice way to kind of dip your toes in, to the Pebble Island yarn. And then we have a couple little hats, 3 little hats. So these are cute, very fun and playful. Again, playing with the colors here. So I think they look just wonderful. And again, these would be, so if you knit a garment, you might have enough left over from a couple things just to play with color and be just kind of go wild. If you ever worried about finishing, you needn't, because see, they've just really kind of whip stitched that thing together. And I love that. It just sort of says, not everything has to be perfect. Sometimes things are just fine with the stitches showing, and it's okay. I meant to do it that way, right? So very nice stuff. So anyway, I love this yarn. I think it's super exciting. I will have some of the kits together on the website for you next week, maybe this week if I work really hard at it. But I think you should definitely treat yourself to at least maybe those fingerless knits and see what a very carefully, very consciously created fiber is like. I think you can just really feel, I know this is going to sound hokey and woo-woo, but I feel like you can feel the love that went into creating this yarn. And I love that it supports a cottage industry, real people. It's completely traceable. So I love that. It's turning yarn back into, the way it was meant to be, where you have small producers producing very special items for people who are hand knitting very special things. People like you that care about the materials and take the time to really put a lot of effort into what they're creating. So I love it. If you have a favorite, go ahead and tell me in the chat. I also wanted to mention, although I was originally thinking that this was filmed or photographed, I think the photographs in this collection are just beautiful. They've done a really, as always, Rowan has done a really beautiful job with the photographs. There we go, with the photographs in here. Sort of reads like half fashion magazine, half travel journal. So some really lovely pictures in the magazine and the collection. Unfortunately, she was not able to travel to Pebble Island for this shoot, and it was shot near Erica Knight's home in the southeastern coastline of Great Britain, which is equally beautiful, and I would be happy to go to either place anytime. So let's see. Valerie would knit the wrap. Gail likes the cabled pullover. Yes, I think it's beautiful too. Yep. Yeah, this is me. I'm with you, Barbara. So many decisions. But the textured sweater. Yeah, Amelia's big into things that are fun to knit as well as beautiful to wear. So that textured pullover would absolutely be one of those things that would be super fun to knit as well. Very classic. So yeah, I think it's really pretty. And I encourage you at least to come by the shop or check it out online. I'll be posting on Instagram some of these pictures that I think are just so fun with the agate belt. So until next time, keep knitting and create something beautiful. And I'll see you next week. Have a wonderful evening.